Flosstube! It's my first Flosstube and I'm so excited and nervous. My name is Megan, also known as Stitching Moon here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And yeah, I've been like watching all the Flosstube for the past few months and wanted to start one like immediately, but I was just not in a good place life-wise or project-wise. So now that I am, yeah, I'm starting. So I have like some rough notes I might look at, and I won't always look at the camera, so sorry about that. So a little bit about me first, I guess. I am originally from the US, from New England, New Hampshire, we can say the Shire, and then moved to Florida where I met my husband, who is Norwegian, and we decided to move to Norway like 2 years ago, really like 4. We moved for a year in Norway. It was crazy. We quit our jobs in the US, moved to Norway, thinking it would be way easier to find jobs here. That didn't happen, so moved back to the US and figured we were there for good when my husband got like a job email from someone he had interviewed before, just like offering him a job randomly. So we're like, yeah, let's do it, because we always thought Norway was just a great place to have a family. He's from here, his family's all here, so yeah, so we did it. And that was in 2019 before all the COVID craziness. So that was kind of lucky. We were able to do that before all that happened. And yeah, and I also have a daughter who was born in 2020. And we have 1 cat. And now it's like I'm living in a fairy tale. Like I feel like I look outside and I'm like, I could cross stitch like everything that I see. It's beautiful. Maybe I can like figure out how to insert a picture somewhere. Yeah, so what else? I work from home full time, but it's based in the US, so it's like weird hours. I work from like 1 p.m. to 9 p.m. in Norway time. So it's kind of nice to have the mornings off and I can like record Flosstubes and do some stitching. And I was recently taking class, like Norwegian class, to learn the language, and that was like a lot of hours for a long time, so that's why I didn't have time really to film anything till now or stitch much. But I'm so happy because I passed the level in Norwegian that I wanted. I was really surprised that I did that, but the exams are all done, so that's behind me. Yeah, and one interesting thing about being in Norway that's hard to get used to is that things are not as convenient to get as they were in the US. So maybe it's a good thing because, you know, thanks to Flosstube, I want all the things and all the fabrics and threads and patterns. But even if I get a pattern, which is easy to get online, like it's tough to get. Well, it's not tough. You can go to like your local store and get thread and fabric, but it is so expensive compared to what I'm used to. Like, for instance, like a DMC skein, it's like in US dollars, it's over $2 for one. And in the US now it's like 60 cents or something. So it would be ridiculously expensive to get all of it that I want for all the things. And fabric, I think it was like the equivalent of what I could get for $6 in the US was like over $30 here. So yeah, I have to figure out how to best do that. I have bought some things here and I think it is good to, you know, support the local area, but also, you know, keep it reasonable on my wallet. And actually one of the Flosstubers that is on here that I've been watching is Rita Marie. I think it's Rita Marie's Stitching Adventure, and I reached out to her because she lives in Norway. And yeah, she said she'll get some things here, some things from England, some things she has like friends in the US that will ship things over, and I still have family in the US, so I've been like sending them a whole bunch of things, and when they hopefully can visit soon, hopefully the end of summer, then I'll have them just like bring everything with them. And if I ever get to go back and visit the US after COVID, I'll bring like 2 extra suitcases and just stock up. So that's a bit about my life now. How I got into stitching. So my first cross stitch I ever did was when I was like 12. I think it was my 12th birthday. My grandmother got me a little kit and it was a house. It was so cute. I have all those past ones like on my Instagram. I won't show them all here. They were all like stamped kits. That's like the only thing I did back then. And I didn't know what I was doing because I used just like one like strand of floss for, you know, the whole thing, and it was supposed to be like 3 that you use, and yeah, it was cute. So I did a whole bunch of those. I got so into it, probably for, I don't know, up through high school. And then I stopped. I kind of just like put it away, forgot about it. Luckily I saved all of my cross stitch and extra threads and all that stuff, but they were in a bag forever. And I moved so many times, like I'm lucky that I didn't get lost. I dragged them around everywhere in a bag, like just a little like market basket bag from New England, and it somehow held up all these years. And then when we were here in Norway, and I was kind of going through stuff, I was pregnant, and I saw, like, I came across an old kit that I never finished, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll give this a try again. And I started that. It was stamped again, and then in the middle of it, I'm like, maybe I should make something for my daughter. And that's when I like looked online, and I got a whole bunch of like kits my mom had sent me. And one of them, like my first getting back into kind of, it was still a stamped kit, but it's this blanket. I'll show you. Let's see how this will work. It's kind of big. Okay, so let's see. I hope you can see this. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah. So I did that like pretty much every evening almost while I was like pregnant, trying to get it done in time, and I did. And then but one thing I'm proud of in this, it was my first time ever stitching a blanket, and on the back, you know, you can just go like all the way through, but I like Googled, I think this is probably like one of my first floss tubes before I knew Flosstube existed. Like I just saw how you can not go through the back. Like you have to like do the needle, like, because there's a couple layers, so you just go through without going all the way through. So it was an interesting way to stitch. It was like sewing kind of. You can see some of the things, like definitely some of the threads went through, but in general, not bad. The only thing is, like, my daughter hasn't been able to use it yet because even though she's like almost 16 months now, we don't have anything in her crib, and especially my husband's like super scared of her like suffocating or something, so she'll probably be 2 before she has any blankets in there. But I'll take it out for her sometimes to like play with. She likes the colors, I think. So then after that, I also made her like a birth sampler with her name and everything, and that was my first counted one, really. And it was pretty big, and that's hanging down in her room framed, but I don't want to show it here really just because it has like all her info. But on my Instagram I do have a picture of that, like with her name blocked out and like dates and all that, so if you want to see that, you can check that out. The other one that I did, so kind of my second counted cross stitch when I got back into it, was this. It was another kit from Dimensions, the Twilight silhouettes. So it has some sparkle in it somewhere, and like the wings and like the dust, but it doesn't really show up. And this was back when I was a monogamous stitcher and only stitching on one thing. And when I like started, this is kind of when I started to get into Flosstube. I started this like end of November of 2020 and finished it like April. But I didn't do it every day, probably because, you know, it gets a little monotonous just doing one thing over and over. And what was I saying? Yeah, so that was before I started like stitching, wanting to stitch all the things and having more than one thing in progress. And it was funny because I started seeing people like, you know, on Flosstube having like, you know, I thought 5 at once was like a ton, and then I see people having like 90, 100 all at once, and I was like, whoa, that's crazy, there's no way I can do that. Now I do have more than one because I was very easily led and influenced, but I like it. Yeah, I don't have a ton at all, but just having some different things to switch between is nice, and then yeah, it kind of enables you to buy more of the things you like. So this one too, I don't know what, like I put it on basically, so it's cardboard, but I put like felt, like a dark blue felt between the cardboard and this so that it won't, I don't know, the acid. I guess like you shouldn't do that because if you put it directly in the cardboard, it's something about like acid in the board will like ruin it later. So I just put felt over it and I hope that's enough. But yeah, in the back you can just see I like laced it and I found a handy dandy probably Flosstube to like show me how to do this thing. And the reason I had to learn how to do that was because in the one that I made for, sorry I'm not looking at the camera, the one that I made for my daughter here in Norway, I took it to we have a framer locally, and I took it there, but the only thing is like if they were to do this lacing like on the back, it would be like ridiculously expensive. So they said, okay, if you come back with it done, then we'll just frame the rest of it. So I'm like, okay, I've never done anything like this before. And they gave me the board and like the string and everything, so I just learned how to do that for that one, and then I just did the same thing for this one. But I cut out the cardboard from like a cardboard box that I had, and it's probably not straight, like, but it's okay because this design itself is not actually straight, like, I don't know why, but like it's curved a little bit here, and it's just not straight on the bottom. I don't know. It's a little wavy, but I'm not like a perfectionist cross stitcher, so it's okay. I also made quite a bit of mistakes in here that are obvious if you know where to look, but yeah, like I said, if I usually make a mistake in a project, then I'll just, if it's not huge, I'll just like work around it, and yeah, then it becomes my own unique design, right? Although I did have to like frog a little bit on this one because I started it the wrong way. I started it like going this way and I had started like quite a bit of like the person, and then I realized, yeah, that's the wrong way. So that I did rip out. Yeah, so that is that one. And then I started to like really get into all the different designs, a lot of things on Etsy that I was looking into, and there's so many patterns that I was like, whoa, it's so different from back when I was in high school and going to get like the kits from Joann's or Michael's or whatever. So I like wanted to stitch a bunch of things, but it's expensive to frame here, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with all of these that I want to do? Am I going to frame them? It's going to get like expensive. I bought a bunch of pictures before we left for Norway, so I don't know how much wall space we'll have. And then I got the idea like, oh, I'll just make gifts for everybody. So I went on this like gift buying pattern spree. So I'm working on that now. And then I got more into Flosstube, and I was like, no, I want to stitch all these things for myself now. So I have to work those kind of into a rotation. But I'll show you the ones that I'm working on now. All my whips that works in progress that are also gifts that I do want to finish by the summer, because hopefully my family can come visit from the US soon, and it would be nice to just give them to them here while they're here instead of having to ship them. That would scare me to ship like my finished projects, especially because the mail takes so long here. So that's my plan. I do want to finish the ones that I have now for my family coming by the end of summer. I have one done for my stepmom, and I'll show you that one. So this one, it's on, so the fabric, there's way too much fabric around it, and I have to cut that off later and iron it. But this one is, I think it's just called Magnolia flower, and it was by the shop Light Unicorn Designs on Etsy. So that one I did for her because she likes the movie Steel Magnolias, so I thought, why not a magnolia flower? So that's that one. I'll have to iron it when she gets here. And then, I don't know, maybe I'll finish it on like a board like I did, and then she can like frame it how she wants. Plus, like, it's not good to travel with a frame across the ocean, as I know. We've done that several times. So, okay, the next work in progress whip that I have is for my sister. I don't think she'll watch this. Like, I don't think she'll find out about it, so it's fine. It's going to look like this. And it's called, yeah, Blue Watercolor Poppies. And that is, I think, by Tiana Handmade, another Etsy shop. And that my sister just loves Poppies, and this was like a blue version, so that was cool. And it's like a watercolor effect, and again, it have like hoop marks all over it. But yeah, so it's coming along. I like how it was framed like in the picture of how it looks. Actually, yeah, it's right here. How it's like kind of cut off and like close to the edge. I kind of like that effect. So that's one of them. And then I have the Beatles. This one is for my dad because he likes the Beatles. Like when we were younger, he would get us, me and my sister, into, you know, he got us Beatles like cassette tapes back in the day, and we were all about the Beatles. So we kind of grew up with them. And it's this, is what it's gonna look like. And this is from an Etsy shop too. What's it called? Oh, did I not write it down? I think I have it actually. One sec. I started keeping notes of like my things, which is another thing I didn't think I would ever do, because I was like, I'm just gonna do one thing at a time. Yeah. It is the Beatles. Yeah, by Kaplio X-Stitch from Etsy. So on this one, this is my first time stitching on a linen, and it's Ivory Lugana by Zweigart. And it's, I think, yeah, 28 count. And so I'm doing 2/2. So it's almost like you would be stitching on 14 count. So you go over 2 squares. And yeah, that's where it is so far. We've got George, Ringo, and this is gonna be Paul. Yeah, it's little, but I like how, oh, it looks really good on camera. Everyone says that, but it does. Because in person, I don't know if you can see, like, if I go up close, but like in George's hair, he has, I don't know, some of the stitches kind of like don't sit completely flat. Probably because it's my first time working on linen. So I don't know if that's normal. But I did, so I'm doing this one actually stitching in hand, which I'm not used to and I don't really like that much, but I tried using like this mini, so it's a Q-snap, but it's like, I asked for one from my mom, but she got like a different brand than the actual Q-snap, and it was really tiny, like 6 by 6. But I was like, oh, maybe I can use it for this, like one head might fit in there. But when I tried to put that on, like it like warped the fabric and I got super scared. I don't know if you can see it anymore. Maybe, yeah, I can kind of see it, like maybe not on camera, but yeah, you can't really see it on camera. But I was like, crap, this is gonna break my fabric. So I don't know if that was just because it was like an off brand, but now I'm like scared to use a Q-snap on linen. So tell me how to do that if you do that, because I have other things that I want to do that are big in the future that I definitely want to use the Q-snap for, but now I'm like terrified. So that's that one. Oh, another thing I wanted to say about this one is I'm doing it as part of a SAL, a stitch along by Laura Gutter, that I've been watching her Flosstube, and she wanted to do like something European related, and this one, because it's, she said like bands can count, and obviously they're a band from the UK, so I'm doing this one as part of that stitch along, and the hashtag is like super long. I have it written down because I would forget it. If you want to join, she said anyone can join that. It can be anything Europe related. Where is it? So yeah, hashtag cross-stitching, cross-stitching Europe all around the world SAL. That's the hashtag. Cross-stitching Europe all around the world SAL. So yeah, and if you don't know Laura, that's how you say her name. It's like Laura, but she says it's pronounced Laura. I'll link her channel below too, because I think she's pretty cool. I like her Flosstube and her projects. What else? So the next whip that I have is another gift for my mom. And this one, so she got into photography after she retired. Now she does like photography for real estate, and she wants to do like video with people's like stories when they're older. So yeah, she's been all into photography. So this is hers, going to be hers. Camera 2, and this is also by Light Unicorn Designs on Etsy. And this is like a lot bigger than I was expecting. And it's also kind of my first semi-full coverage, because like you can see, it's not like totally full coverage because there's like pieces here that you don't stitch, but like this whole part is full coverage. So that's kind of my first experience with this. And as you can see, my first experience with parking-ish. So that's where I am, and this is a giant piece of fabric. I probably will have too much extra, I don't know. But I'm using it in an 11 by 11 Q-snap that I just took out of it. And even though it doesn't have hoop marks, it has Q-snap marks, so. And now with these threads, they were like a lot worse. Yesterday I tried to clean them up a little bit so you could actually see the picture. But like I said, my first time doing kind of parking, and I've liked it, like, except for now that I'm getting into the part where it's like not all full coverage, then it's a pain in the butt. But like in this part, it was like really, really nice and fun. I mean, it's slow going, but I don't know how I could do it like cross country if not, because there's a lot of confetti in this one for me. I mean, there's only like, what, I don't know, 25 colors in the whole thing, but for me, it's a lot of colors and confetti. And so I was doing just like a 10 by 10 square, like across, you can kind of see it stopped here. And again, before Flosstube and before full coverage, I was like, oh, why would you park? What are you doing? No, that's not how you cross stitch. Because I was like, I loved cross country and just doing one color at a time and going through, which works for some projects, like the ones I had done. But for, yeah, full coverage, there's no way. So, and I actually liked parking because way less stopping threads and starting them. You just like pick it up again and go, which is really nice. And I don't really mind the mess, like when the threads, I don't have anything to hold them, but they don't get like knotted or anything. They don't look that great, but that's okay. I just move them out of the way. Anything else I want to say about this one? I'm hoping I can finish this by, I don't know, my mom might come if she can in August, so I'm hoping to get that done in time. Plus, my dad's the one who's probably first gonna come, but the Beatles one, it shouldn't take me too long to finish. I just have like one person, one head and a half, or a little more than a half, but I could even probably get it done like while he's here maybe. So how I decide like to do which one I'm gonna work on, at first I was just doing 1 week on each project, and that alone was like, whoa, like that was a lot for me because I'm used to just doing one until I finished it. But then like I kept watching more people, and like I know a bunch of people use this way, but I think the first time I heard it was by Vonnie from Thread the Needle, who does like a lot of the full coverage stuff that I like. So she did like the decision wheel, and I know a bunch of people use that, but that was the first time I heard it. I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I was gonna like show you which one I use now on the video and like pick my one for the day, but I'm using my phone, so can't do that. But now I just do that every day. I only have 3 right now, actual whips, so I just spin the wheel for the day, and that's the one that I work on for the day, which I like. That's kind of exciting. You're like, what am I gonna do today? And now let's get into like ones that I want to start in the summer soon. I have one like kitted up and all ready to go, but I don't know when I'm gonna start it because like I said, I want to finish these gifts like so that my family can actually take them with them when they go. So depending on how far along I get on that, I don't know when I'll start it. I also have another gift that I want to start in July because it's like a Christmassy one, and it's like Christmas in July-ish, and hopefully I can finish that for Christmas. And that one's going to be for my husband's grandmother, and I'll show you that week on the next video. But the one that I have all ready to go, and I'm excited to start it, it's like one for me actually. But again, I don't know when I will. It's this one. It's a kit. What's it called? Queen of Silk by Designworks. The reason I love this one so much was her dress. Like, oh, look at that. Look at all the colors and details in her dress. That's so cool. And she has beads. I've never done beads before, so that's fun. Those are the beads. And it's on this cool, like, color fabric. Not white, it's like grainy and stuff. So that'll be interesting. It's still 14 count, and this is gonna be huge. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but I can show you my floss is all kitted up. And this one was kind of annoying because it didn't have, you had to guess which colors were what based on like the names of them and how many there were. Ugh, which is annoying, but I finally did it. And I'm using this Paco, I don't know how you say it, floss organizer that I ordered. And yeah, I like it. It's like you can just write out the symbols there. And I learned, like, oh my god, from Flosstube, thank you, that you don't have to like take off the entire thing every time, take out one thread and then pull out one thread from that. Like, you can just do it right from here and like take your needle and just pull one thread out and not take anything off. And that was like brilliant. I never knew you could do that. So I think a bunch of people on Flosstube have said that, so thanks. So I also got like a bunch more of these organizers because I am going to start some big full coverage projects eventually, and I was trying to figure out like the best way to organize all my floss and things, and like just experimenting with things because I've never done like big projects like this before. So I've been like watching, seeing how different people do things. And I know like a lot of people use like Annie's keepers, which are good, but I tried to find how you could get them, and that was just like, I don't know, I couldn't even get them here, or it'd be like a big hassle to get them all the way here in Norway. So I just decided to go with those, and I think those are going to work well. For my camera one, I'll show you what I'm doing now. It's not efficient. It's very slow and painful. So I have this little chocolate box. It doesn't shut all the way now because I've got threads in it, but it was a little chocolate box. And so I took all the like threads for that project and like have like a length or so of them on bobbins like in this box, and then I'll take off. I have to like unwind it though every time to like get a new thing and then wind it back on, and it's just a pain. So I'm not gonna do that ever again. But I'll learn. Next. Okay, so I also want to do another shout out for like when I was thinking of doing a floss tube, I was like, I wonder if there's like videos on how you can do a floss tube. And I came across Kokohamas, I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. Her channel, Rocio, I think is her name, had like how to do your first floss tube, like, you know, why you should do one or not and all that stuff. So I just wanted to shout her out, like, thank you. There was only one video on that, and then I checked out like her other recent videos because I think that one was a little older, and I was like, oh, I think she's adorable. Like, now I'm a new subscriber, and I don't know why I haven't found her before. She's like big. She's got like over 3,000 subscribers, so you probably know her. But I don't know why, like, you know, certain people will pop up on your like feed or suggestions, and she just never came up until I searched that. So yeah, thanks. Okay, yeah, next, some plans. I'll show you maybe some upcoming things that I want to do, because why not? Yeah, I won't show you all the things that I want to start, because I sat down and actually made like plans for what I want to do this year, and then what I want to do and finish next year. Not finish everything, but like have on the go eventually, because I have all these things in my head that I wanted to do, and now I know why people keep notes and write them down and make plans. So I did that. I won't go through all of them right now, but just a couple that I want to show you as like, I don't know, preview, or so you can see like what I might have on this channel coming up. See if you like that stuff, if you want to stick around. The first one, this was kind of like an impulse one. I was watching Stacy from the 911 Stitcher, who happened to have like a, she gave like a coupon code for Galliana shop. I guess it's also an Etsy shop that you could get 20% off something, and she showed this pattern in someone who had completed it, and it's called the Galliana Sampler. And I've never done like a sampler like this before, but they're growing on me with all the ones that I see people doing. And this one looked awesome when someone was doing it. I think they finished it. It has like, the reason I like it, it's because it's got like hidden things in it about 2020 and like COVID and all just other things that happened also in the year. I think there's also stuff about like the Australian fires, like just things, which it's kind of morbid if you think about it, like why are you stitching all that? But it's cool to like just, I don't know, commemorate all the things that we lived through. And I think I'm also going to put, because 2020 big things happened, so I'm also going to add, I think, some things about that myself. Not anything fancy, probably like written around the border, I don't know. And it's also my first time choosing like my own colors and fabric. So the colors I chose were just two. It was like an antique, dark antique red and dark antique purple that I want to do. I don't know how I'll split them up or anything yet, but. And then I got two different fabrics because I wasn't sure which one would look best, but I know if whatever one I don't use, I can use for another project, another gift that I'm going to be doing. So that I ordered to my mom's place in the US. So again, I won't be getting that for a while, but when I do, that'll be a fun video. So that one, I don't know when I'll start it. Like, again, I probably will get the stuff the end of summer. So I might start it in the fall or end of summer, I don't know. But the other one that I'm going to be getting is my first paid Heaven and Earth Designs. And this one I got like kitted up because that's the way for me to go because of just where I live right now. So I got the kit of this one that again is going to be sent to my mom's. The shipping was just, they can send it here, but it was like ridiculous for shipping. And then I would most likely have to pay like taxes on it coming in, which can be, well, because that's more expensive, it'll probably be over $30 or $35 on top of all the shipping, which was already expensive. So it's over an extra $100 if I want it shipped here. So she'll probably get it in the beginning of August, and hopefully that works out for when she is able to come here. But this one is called Together by Jim Warren. Oh, reflection, sorry. And this one, it just caught my eye one. So I'm called Stitching Moon, and I love moons. Obviously, like the Twilight one, a giant moon in it. I'm just like fascinated by the moon. I don't know. So most of the things actually that I stitch do have the moon, or the ones that I want to stitch have the moon in them somewhere. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. But also this one I wanted to stitch because, like, for my husband and I, because it's like, so to me it was like a journey through a relationship. I don't know why, but I didn't realize that they're like walking the bridge to heaven, and that dove is like, okay, they died and they're going to heaven. Yeah, I didn't realize that. So I just thought of it as, oh, they're walking through life together and they're going towards their dreams. Their little house up there. But it's mine, so I can still think of it that way. The only thing is, it's a dog they're walking, and we're not dog people. We had cats, but we did have a cat that passed away that was kind of like a dog, and I'm just gonna pretend that's him. But yeah, so this is like one that will represent me and my husband's marriage. Maybe I'll get it done for, I don't know, our 10th anniversary. We're coming up on like our 7th in November. So maybe by our 10th I'll have it done. It's the like regular size version. And my first like giant project like this, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, so I'll just show you a couple of my other full coverage that I eventually want to start, just so you can kind of see what'll be upcoming in the years ahead. So this one, I have the pattern, but it'll take me a while to kit it. I'll probably have to do that in the US sometime. But this one, this one has like an emotional connection because this picture, it was a painting that we had hanging up in our like dining room when I was little, all the time, and it's like an emotional connection. My mom still has this painting hanging up, and I found it on Cross Stitch Collectibles, it's called, and that's like the charter, the person who charted it, and it's called Children on the Beach. Oh, sorry for the reflection. So the reason why our whole family just loved it so much was because that little girl in the front, like her, she looked like me as a baby, so we always called it me, Little Maggie, it was called. But now it looks like my daughter even more. So it's like me and my daughter. And we always just said that girl in the back with the hat must have been my sister. So that's like an emotional one that I can't believe they have like a chart for it. I'm like, oh, I'm so stitching that. But since I'm going to start the other one first, together, and so once I hit like some kind of milestone on that, I'll tell myself I can start this one, which I'm hoping sometime next year in 2022. Then the other full coverage that I don't know why, this one as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I love it. And I don't know what about it exactly, but this one is by Artecy, charted by, I think that's how you say it. I've heard someone say Artecy. I just say Artecy, I don't know. But it's San Fran, it's called San Francisco, San Fran, and it's the large version, and it's somewhat new. And I saw it, I think on Instagram, and I don't know, something about it, I was just like, oh, I love it. It has the moon, obviously, but I think it's just because it's so much variety in there. Like, it has the city, it has the moon, the cityscape is really beautiful, and then the houses. I think I love stitching houses. The houses with all the detail, and then it's like the garden, and the path, and the flowers. So it has like a little bit of everything. And I got the large version because it looked way better, like less pixelated than the regular version. But this one's gonna be hefty. This is gonna take years. I don't even know when I'm gonna be able to start it, because I'll want to try and probably have a milestone on the other one, the Children on the Beach, before I start this one. And then get it all kitted up and everything. But I have the pattern. But yeah, I think like the big like full coverage pieces like this, like I have so many that I want, and I think what it is, I have to have like some kind of feeling about them, like just more than like, oh, that's a pretty picture, but I have to be like drawn to them, like something about them like has this feeling. I don't know, it's like a wistful feeling or something, reminds me of something. You can't always like name what it is, but yeah, the ones that I have for the full coverage are like that. So that's not necessarily for the like, not for the gift ones I have, like I don't have that same feeling for those, or even like that sampler and things, like they're just cool, they're not like, oh my god. So I think all the full coverage I do, I have to have some kind of like, oh my god, like feeling about it. What else? I think I went through like everything. Let me just see. Yeah, I'll put like in the description like the projects that I talked about, like Flosstubers that I mentioned. And yeah, I don't know how often I'll do these. I was thinking like once a month, but I don't know. I guess it depends how much like work I get done. How much you guys are into it, but yeah, I don't know. We'll just kind of play it by ear, but I do want to do at least like once a month, so maybe once every 3 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, I did want to show you one other thing. It was another project that I'm not going to start until, I think actually this one will be my birthday start in November. And I got this, there was a sale from 123 Stitch, and wolf patterns, especially. They were having a sale, and there was two that I like was in love with. Couldn't decide between either of them, so on my Instagram I had like people, I was like, vote, I don't know which one to get, I love them both so much, and I ended up getting both of them. So yeah, the other one, so this is, for some reason, the second one that I got, it's like out of stock, so they're not gonna be able to ship it to me until July, and this first one, it took like over a month to get here. It didn't take long at all to get to Norway, but for some reason when it got to Norway, it took forever, like 3 weeks or something or more, I don't know, but it's here, and it's a kit. It's called Forest Heartbeat by, what is it by? RTO. I don't really know them, but the reason I liked it, so it actually has the moon in her hair. Yeah, so I read this book a while ago called The Women Who Run with the Wolves by, I think it's Christina Pinkola. I can link that as well. But that was amazing. It was just about like stories connecting with your feminine and the wild feminine, and it talks about like how wolves can kind of represent that, and of course the moon is in there too. But this just reminded me of that, and like kind of connecting with myself and that journey that we go on. So yeah, so that is that. It's not very colorful, but yeah, you know, it's symbolic. So I'll probably make that my birthday start, and I'll show you the other one like eventually when it comes, or when I want to start that. But I think that is it. Hey, pretty good. It's like 40 minutes. Like, I had a lot to talk about on my first one. But yeah, so yeah, thanks for watching if you made it this far. Oh, one other thing, if you do comment or anything, if I don't get to you by any chance over the next week, it's because I'm leaving tomorrow to go visit my husband's grandparents who live on an island, tiny island that's like 16 people on it, and they don't have very good service, but I should be okay because I'm bringing like a little portable wireless, because I still have to work. So, but if, I don't know, if we get busy out there or something happens, then, or if I mess up uploading or commenting on this video, that's probably why. But yeah, comment if you like, subscribe if you like, yeah, just let me know what you think, and I hope to see you soon. Bye!